The United States Wrestling Association was a professional wrestling promotion based in Memphis, Tennessee. The company was founded when the Memphis-based Continental Wrestling Association merged with the Dallas-based World Class Wrestling Association. It was 1989. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-16 to win Super Bowl 23. Serial killer Ted Bundy is executed in Florida's electric chair. Nintendo releases its first handheld game console, also known as Game Boy. Ice-T releases his third studio album, Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say, which included the single You Played Yourself. And the USWA was founded as an attempt to create a third national promotion alongside Jim Crockett Promotions and the WWF. The USWA was created through a merger of the WCDW from Texas and the CWA based in Memphis. It originally promoted shows usually headlined by Jerry Lawler in both Tennessee and Texas. The Dallas promotion, formerly WCCW, which was 40% owned by the Von Erich family, withdrew from the USWA in September 1990 due to a revenue dispute. According to Skandor Akbar, there were lawsuits involved, most notably when Jerry Jarrett was sued by Kevin Von Erich. The promotion reverted to the world-class name, but ceased operations 2 months later due to lack of revenue. Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler brought the USWA back to Texas, but only on a limited basis, while promoters Joe Pedicino, Max Andrews, and Boney Blackstone were getting the new Global Wrestling Federation ready for a spring 1991 debut at the Sportatorium. Several of the former world-class and USWA Dallas wrestlers joined the new GWF, while others from the old CWA remained with the USWA. In 1992, the USWA began a talent exchange with the WWF, which saw Lawler sign to Vince McMahon's federation, while several high-profile WWF stars appeared in the USWA. Dallas wrestler Gentleman Chris Adams spent a few months in the USWA in an angle involving Brian Christopher and Tony Adams, splitting his time between Memphis and Dallas GWF during this time frame. In 1993, the WWF started sending talent down to Memphis to feud with the company, including the fake Razor Ramon and fake Diesel. Even Vince McMahon got into the act and began his Mr. McMahon persona. Some of the superstars that also participated in the talent exchange were Sergeant Slaughter, The Undertaker, The Godwins, The Bushwhackers, The Body Donnas, The Smoking Guns, The Orient Express, Adam Bomb, Steve Lombardi, Jimmy Hart, Paul Bearer, Barry Horowitz, the 1-2-3 Kid, Justin Bradshaw, Bam Bam Bigelow, Mark Henry, and even Howard Finkel. The wrestling landscape changed in 1995. The Monday Night Wars began, with WWF and WCW battling for cable television supremacy on Monday nights each and every week. As for the USWA, the biggest crowds came every Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. With a growing wrestling viewership on Monday nights that could watch pay-per-view quality matches for free on television, the live audience at the marquee events for the USWA began to dwindle. A move to Thursday nights did not help what was becoming inevitable, the demise of the USWA. A combination of a poor lineup, substandard venue, lack of talent, and moving the show to Thursday nights led to a show on October 3, 1996, drawing the smallest crowd in the history of Memphis wrestling. Just 372 fans paying $1,800 to the Big One flea market. The future of the promotion was being questioned, following the previous week's resignation of general manager Randy Hales. The Louisville and Nashville crowds had stayed consistent, but the Memphis crowds, which in the past had carried the promotion, had fallen over in the past few months. In addition, the Big One Flea Market Pavilion was less than inviting. The zigzag roof from the original owner had major leaking problems. Although Lawler was working for the WWF, he and Larry Burton ended up buying the USWA from Jarrett and immediately selling it to businessman Mark Selker's company, XL Sports Limited, in early 1997. and the USWA went out of business by November of that year, resulting in a nasty lawsuit between Burton, Selker, and Lawler. In a civil RICO trial, a federal district court jury in Cleveland, Ohio, eventually returned a verdict on which judgment was entered. The jury determined that Larry Burton and his son Jason Burton had engaged in racketeering and awarded XL Sports treble damages in the amount of $2.59 million. The jury also determined that Mr. Burton was liable for fraud and conversion and awarded XL Sports $235,000 in compensatory damages and $3.3 million in punitive damages. The United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit upheld all these judgments. Some of the major USWA cities included Memphis, Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Louisville, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Jonesboro and Tuckerman, Arkansas, and Kennett, Missouri. Some of the notable talent included Brian Christopher, The Spellbinder, The Soul Taker, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, Todd Champion, Jeff Jarrett, Master of Pain, Tojo Yamamoto, Jimmy Valiant, Butch Reed, Billy Jack Haynes, Cactus Jack Manson, Austin Idol, Dustin Rhodes, Kamala, Eddie Gilbert, Coco Beware, Junkyard Dog, Dr. Death Steve Williams, and Doug Basham. The original Nation of Domination was formed in 1996 in the United States Wrestling Association. The group was led by PG-13, a tag team consisting of JC Ice and Wolfie D. Additional members included Kareem Olajuwon, Sir Muhammad, Elijah, Brackus, Shaquille Ali, Randy X, and Queen Moesha. Nation of Domination was then formed as a heel faction in the WWE when Farouk was joined by manager Clarence Mason as well as JC Ice and Wolfie D, who would lead the group to the ring rapping their theme song. The group was also accompanied by 3 actors, Albert Armstrong, Charles Hines, and Richard Beach, whose names were not acknowledged on screen but were supposed to represent other members of the nation. The group was based loosely on the Nation of Islam, the group's pro-black theme at times including the Nation Salute, and Farouk's angry tirades on the microphone garnered them an excessive amount of heat from fans in the arenas. Many wrestlers joined the heel stable over time, including Crush, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, Savio Vega, Mark Henry, Owen Hart, and The Rock. The Rock would later be assaulted by D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry in October 1998, which would ultimately be the end of the Nation as a faction. The USWA Unified World Heavyweight Championship was a title created in 1988, which consisted of the WCWA World Heavyweight Championship from World Class Championship Wrestling and the AWA World Heavyweight Championship from the American Wrestling Association. The title was unified on December 13, 1988, when AWA World Champion Jerry Lawler defeated WCWA World Champion Kerry Von Erich in a unification match. The title was primarily recognized by and defended in the United States Wrestling Association until 1997 when the company ceased operations. However, the AWA withdrew its recognition of the championship shortly after the unification match when Lawler was stripped of the AWA World title. The title was also contested in a non-televised match prior to the World Wrestling Federation's King of the Ring event in 1993. The NWA Texas Heavyweight Championship is a professional wrestling title that has existed since the 1930s. Though its exact date of creation isn't known, it is among the oldest championships used in professional wrestling today. The title has used a variety of different names over the years, which consists of initial changes to represent the various companies that have controlled the title at different times. Originally, it was simply known as the Texas Heavyweight Championship until its name was changed after the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. For most of the title's existence, at least until the early 1990s, it was defended almost exclusively within the Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio areas of Texas. From the 1930s to the mid-1960s, these cities and the surrounding towns were within the territory operated by Ed McLemore, which was known simply as Southwest Sports Incorporated at the time. After McLemore's death, The territory came under control of Fritz von Erich and was renamed as Big Time Wrestling. However, the promotion would be renamed World Class Championship Wrestling in the early 1980s, which is the name the territory is best remembered under today. The championship remained an NWA affiliate until February 1986. In 1986, WCCW withdrew from the NWA and changed their name to the World Class Wrestling Association, while still promoting under the WCCW banner. The title became the WCWA Texas Heavyweight Championship at this time when the WCCW merged into the USWA. It was renamed the WCWA Texas Heavyweight Championship in July 1990 after the WCWA split from the USWA, then became the USWA Texas Heavyweight Championship again from January 1991 until February 1992, when it became inactive. It then reverted to its original name when it was awarded to NWA Southwest, where it was used until that promotion shut down in September 2011. It then went to NWA Houston, where it subsequently merged with the NWA Lone Star Heavyweight Championship. In a title unification match when Jack Stane defeated Raymond Rao, NWA Lone Star champion Ryan Genesis, and NWA Texas champion Scott Summers to unify the titles on December 12, 2012 in Cypress, Texas. That was the untold story of the United States Wrestling Association.